If you suffer from anxiety, it can feel like you're stuck in a prison. Every time you try to escape, you fail. And every time you do, the more you get punished. You have absolutely no clue what the map of the prison is or where its weak spots are. Maybe you know people who have successfully escaped, but you've got no idea how they did it. Or you're afraid to try it yourself. Whether it's panic attacks, agoraphobia, social anxiety, or any other anxiety-based disorder, the prison is the same. But there's a way to escape. And it's easier than you might think once you know how to do it. And in this video, I'd like to use an Alcatraz analogy to exactly explain to you how to recover from anxiety forever. And I didn't come up with this story myself. I found it in a brilliant letter online called Nothing Works by a guy named Chris. I couldn't find his last name, but it's extremely well written, and I recommend reading it if you like this video. I've put a link to his site below the video. Now, let's go to Alcatraz. There once was a prison in the San Francisco Bay. It was wrongfully known as the prison one could not escape from. We were told that no one had ever successfully managed to, even though attempts were made. The walls were thick and huge. The sea around the island was raging. Many people said it would be foolish to even try to escape, and accepting your life to be over was the best thing to do. And sadly, a lot of people who once dreamed about a better life ended giving up and staying in this prison, feeling more hopeless by the day. But to be honest, it wasn't always necessary to escape either. Many people actually lived in the prison with wholesome and fulfilling lives. With friends and family, children and co-workers. Many accepted this prison to be their life, their reality. And that was fine too. But for those who wanted to escape, there luckily were many ways. As important as it was to know these ways of escape, it was equally important to fail as many times as one needed to. Because the more one fails, the more practice one gets, and the less one fails again. By all means, one shouldn't expect it to work on the first try, but escape was definitely possible. And it turned out that many people actually had done that before. In this story, all characters operate under strict rules and unchangeable limitations. You, however, are the only one without any limitations, nor will you ever have any. Let me introduce the characters of the story first. The island prison, with all its bars, walls, and rocks, is the analogy for the limitation you incorrectly give yourself, based on the fear of what happened if you went past those limitations. It's the fear of fear. Though you hate being in Alcatraz, at least you're safe in yourself for most of the times. Your placement in this prison is your anxiety disorder. The prison guard is called Mr. Limbic. He's this huge, dangerous looking figure with strength that far exceeds your abilities. Mr. Limbic is your autonomic nervous system. He only has one job in this prison, which is to keep you safe. He's quick and he can move a lot faster than you can. Every time someone runs for the exit, he easily and quickly stops them. Mr. Limbic is always watching you and tells you what to do. Interestingly enough, he never threatens to harm you, but nonetheless you're still very scared of what he might do. He's a man who takes his job incredibly serious, and he's a true professional. You also have a cellmate. He's called Johnny What If. He represents your negative and worried thoughts. Johnny keeps on insisting that escape is not only impossible, but also very harmful. He keeps on reminding you of what Mr. Limbic might do if you're disobedient. Johnny What If is a quick thinker. He never stops chatting, and this annoys you hugely. Often he's already given you advice way before you even had time to consider all your options. Johnny What If just wants you to survive your time here in prison. He's a clever guy, but just not very wise. He's very predictable actually because of one simple truth. Within the confines of Alcatraz, Johnny What If is always wrong. He's just a nervous guy, which is also why he talks so much. In fact, he's actually a good guy, always looking out for your well-being. I mean, he's imprisoned as well, and he really thinks that whatever he's telling you is the absolute truth. He simply wants to keep the both of you safe. It's pointless to tell Johnny What If to shut up, by the way. It's best to just thank him for his advice and then choose not to take it. He's on your side, and it goes without saying that he's absolutely terrified of the prison guard, Mr. Limbic. Johnny What If and Mr. Limbic are your ticket out of here. In order to return to the mainland, you have to convince Johnny that he's wrong by demonstrating to Mr. Limbic that the island prison cannot actually harm you. To do this, we must put on a brave face for a couple of days. This cold and uncomfortable prison also has a regular mailman. He brings you your mail every single day. And it's always the same letter titled "The Secret to Escape." In that letter you read stories about people who successfully managed to escape Alcatraz. But whenever you ask the mailman how they actually did it, he answers, "Shh, it's a secret. If only someone would just be able to tell you." When you read these letters, questions are running through your mind, like, did the escapees get hurt when escaping? Or has their cell been located closer to an exit? Was it easier for them? Or how long did it take for them to escape? Is this a con? Did it actually happen? And no one seems to know the answers to these questions. These letters keep on reminding you that you're still imprisoned, and you feel desperate and hopeless when you read them. Your fellow inmates are other people who suffer from anxiety. You pass messages on to them, swap coping tips to endure the time in prison a little bit better, and find some kind of comfort knowing that you're not the only one. They are truly amazing people, the bravest of the brave. Some have been in the prison longer than you, others just came off the boat, bewildered as they try to figure out where the hell they arrived at. When you constantly check in with yourself, you remind yourself that you're still in prison. When you keep checking if sensations are present or if you feel anxiety or panic, you remind yourself of the still white-green walls, the metal bars and the cold hard floor. It's yet another day in one of the worst penitentiaries out there. Sometimes you watch people on the mainland from outside of your window. You view them as the normal people, having an easy and nice life. You wish you were there too. You remind yourself that you used to be there. What happened? What did you do to make you deserve this prison? Jones is a man who can get things. Every prison has one. He's your doctor. He's a smart and brilliant guy who means well. Your medication is his supply of prison hooch. Some inmates don't need the help of Jones, the others do. He can help you plan your escape or nod you in the right direction. Jones isn't the key out of the prison, but for some inmates, his assistance can make them push through the hardest obstacles of the escape. He's always there for you and you can trust his judgment. Now you are the most important character in this story. You vaguely remember arriving in Alcatraz, though you can't quite remember how or why you were sent there. The thing you crave more than anything in the world are your release papers. You get these when you remove your anxiety disorder. There's a little time lag though, as these papers don't arrive straight away. It takes a short time for the red tape administration to be completed. This administration is simply your brain creating relaxing links and deleting anxious links. Your goal is to escape from Alcatraz, take Johnny with you, and get Mr. Limbic a new nice stress-free job, and ultimately free the other prison inmates as well. One day, you're laying on your cell bed reading the same old letters of people who escaped when you hear footsteps outside of your door. At first you try to ignore it, but when you lean in closer you can barely make out a faint whisper from a strange but friendly voice saying, "Hey buddy, there's something in your pocket." Confused and scared, you reach in your pocket and you find a set of keys. These keys represent the responsibility and ownership of your situation. Each key is carefully labeled. You have the key to your own cell, the canteen, the library, the showers, the toilets and the workshop. There's even a key to the governor's office. You notice though that a few keys are missing. You don't have the key to the cells of your fellow inmates, and you don't have the key to the boiler room down in the basement. What does this mean, you think? But having the keys is simply not enough, because you think of Alcatraz as a terrifying place. Don't get me wrong, you hate your cell, but it's a lot better than being anywhere else within the walls of the prison, like the communal areas. At least, that's what Johnny What-If tells you. So now, you're sitting in your cell with all the keys placed out on the table. You stare at them for hours. You consider all your options. The choice is yours. You can leave it or not leave. And damn it, you say, another choice to make. Or could it be an opportunity? By now, you've been in Alcatraz long enough to know that there's no one coming to rescue you, and you have to do it yourself if you want to get out of there. This is a great time to call on the assistance of Jones, the prison doctor. If you feel like you need him, you can call him. He can help you in this situation by taking your mind off worries and give you some breathing space to make the right decision, right? So days and weeks pass, and Johnny pleads you to not do anything rash. He's speaking of all the negative scenarios that could occur should you decide to pick up the keys. And man, Johnny is creative, but remember, he's always wrong. It doesn't matter how long you wait before you pick the keys up off the table, because when you're ready to do it, you will be scared. But that's okay. In fact, it's necessary to be scared because we need the presence of fear to enable us to desensitize ourselves to its effects. Fear only learns when it's turned on. So the fear you feel when you finally pick up the keys is a good sign. It goes without saying, it is not a pleasant feeling. You hold the keys in your hand and fear flashes through you. Irregardless of that fear, you take that cell key and you turn the lock. You look around the corner and see the harsh and cold hallways of Alcatraz. The whole environment seems ominous. Even the silence has an eerie echo. Your heart starts pumping and you start to feel dizzy. You notice that your vision goes slightly blurry, your stomach starts to hurt and you feel nauseous, as if you are about to vomit or faint. Quickly you run back into your cell and slam the door shut. Immediately you get a dressing down from Johnny, who gives you his best list of what ifs today. And he's not called What If for nothing. Boy, can he talk. A day later you decide to try it again. And this time you spend a little bit longer in the hallway. You're still scared, but you've decided to take a look around. Mr. Limbic quickly shows up and orders you back to your room. The fear in his voice causes your sensations to multiply and you quickly run back to your cell. That night, you replay the scenario in your head over and over again. What had actually happened? Nothing happened. Nothing really happened apart from being scared. There were no dangerous gangs with knives, no smugglers, nothing. What is Limbic up to, you wonder? A few days later you decide to try it again, and this time you want to know what would happen if you ignore Mr. Limbic. Could this be bravery? Well, you bet it is. And you are not turning back now. With more confidence than ever before, you step out of your cell. You stand nose to chin with your guard and he's barking the same old orders at you. You've had just about enough of him, so you turn to him and answer, "Hey Limbic, why don't you f*** off?" And you walk straight past him. You walk around the communal areas and you notice that there are no riots, no gangs, nothing. Limbic is closely following you, giving you the same orders over and over again. But you can see he's confused. You ask him why he keeps shouting at you. He goes,
"I'm just doing my job. I'm your guard, and I'm guarding you."
Although Limbic is excellent at his job, he's not very bright, it seems. In a flash comes the realization that in order to escape, all you have to do is outsmart the old Limbic and ignore the completely predictable Johnny. Still a bit scared, but determined, you walk the corridors of Alcatraz with Limbic alongside you, trying to block your path every chance he gets. Eventually he learns that there's no point in blocking you. The sensation you feel is still scary to you, but at least you're not completely stuck in your cell any longer. Later you confidently return back to your cell to tell Johnny of your progress. You've unlocked the doors of your cell, walked around Alcatraz, and nothing he warned you against came true. You weren't attacked, you weren't harmed. You got to know Mr. Limbic a little bit better and he didn't do anything to harm you either. You realize that the more scared of him you are, the more he shouts. And the more you ignore him, the more he assists you in being relaxed. It won't be long, you think, before he'll bring you a cup of tea and rubs your shoulders. For the next trip, you decide to head to the basement. You've been keen to check out the boiler room. And this boiler room represents your energy levels. This small but powerful coal-driven power gland is your body's adrenal glands. It's where adrenaline is created and sent through your system. You take a look through the locked gates and you notice that none of the keys work to this gate. It's very hot and noisy and you're amazed by how much power the boiler room produces. You look a little bit closer and you notice that its power distribution system and the lighting panel have been wrongly calibrated by Mr. Limbic. You're shocked, but you decide to view the situation not with fear or anger, but with objectivity. You know that with just the small tweaks, the heating setting wouldn't be too hot, too cold, the air conditioning would function normally, and the lights wouldn't be too bright, too dull, or flicker constantly. But in the end, you decide that as you know the source of these discomforts, you make the best out of a bad situation and accept your current climate. It's uncomfortable, sure, but that's also all that it is. When you exit the basement, you still notice the heat and the light variations of the whole prison complex. But now you know the source, this doesn't scare you as much as it did yesterday. For your next trip, You decide to visit the governor's office. Limbic is totally confused, but when you enter the office, he brings you a cup of tea. You head straight for the filing cabinet and look for your record. Your prison record is your physical and mental health. You have a quick sneak peek at your record and you're totally shocked to find out that you have committed no crime. There's nothing wrong with you. Confusingly, you try another inmate's records and you find that he hasn't committed a crime either. You hurriedly scan through file after file and the same word repeated over and over again. Prisoner 246, innocent. Prisoner 247, innocent. Prisoner 248, innocent. On the governor's desk is another book. It's Mr. Limbic's logbook. You scan through it and find a section on building calibration. Mr. Limbic kept the log and goes,
Prisoner 246 has been complaining a lot lately, always shouting for help. I keep recalibrating the boiler settings and adjusting the lights, but to no avail. I'll keep trying until he stops complaining.
When you read this, you realize that all this time, he was just trying to help you. You open up another drawer and you find the staff filing cabinet. You flick through it and find Mr. Limbic's impressive CV. As it turns out, he wasn't always the best guard on the West Coast. No, before he worked in Alcatraz, he was a relaxation therapist. What an amazing man, you think to yourself. Not only can he protect you in times of extreme danger, he's also capable of making you feel intense relaxation. Excited and still somewhat amazed, you run back to your cell to tell Johnny about your discovery. At first he doesn't believe you, but you're talking about it in such an exciting manner, he has trouble getting any words in at all. Next, you, Johnny, and the amazing Mr. Limbic walk outside the walls of Alcatraz and stand in the San Francisco sun for a while. For the first time ever, you three have a shared common experience for a while, and all three of you stand there with a small grin on your face. You don't want to celebrate just yet, but you're happy to know that even if you had to spend the rest of your days here in prison, you'd be damn sure that will be on your terms. You can accept your prison because it's nowhere near as bad as you originally thought. That's acceptance. Yes, the environmental controls are a bit messed up. Yes, the guard's an odd guy. Yes, Johnny can be extremely annoying and tiring. But you can happily return to your cell knowing that you can have a good day tomorrow too. You spent many fulfilling days walking around the island. Yes, you're still in prison, but at least you're making the best of it. Johnny still gives you advice from time to time, but nowadays he complains less and less. Your confidence is starting to rub off on him. And as mentioned before, all you have to do really to escape is outsmart Limbic and ignore Johnny. If we somehow manage to get Limbic to chill out, Johnny won't be afraid of him. And getting Limbic to chill should be easy enough now we know that he used to be a relaxation guru. You continue to explore the island some more. You climb the rocks and you overlook the sea. Your fear of it starts to become overwhelmed by amazement at its magnificence. Sometimes you walk on your own, other times you walk with others. Sometimes the guard shouts, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes you still run back to your cell, but all of it is okay. In the meantime, you hear from Johnny, of all people, that your release papers are imminent. But in the meantime, you keep yourself busy. You live happily for a while until one day, Mr. Limbic presents you with your release papers. He gives you your papers the moment you truly accept the prison island as home. You realize that, as before, you can ignore him or listen to him. It's up to you. It has always been up to you. You decide for this time to listen to him. You know you can always return back to the island whenever you want. Mr. Limbic leads you and Johnny to the docks and there's a boat. It's the same boat you arrived with. Your memories of arrival start to come back. It's the same boat. The method to escape the island is the same as the method that brought you to the island. On the side of the boat you read the name of the boat and it says in one word, choice. Mr. Limbic knows that his days as a prison guard are over. He needs a new job and you're the one to write his job description now. It's time for him to return to being a relaxation guru. He skillfully leads you and Johnny back to the shore. What an amazing man, you think. All three of you are filled with excitement as you reach the shore. Johnny can only speak of good things, and of course he can, because his mood is completely dictated by Mr. Limbic. And Mr. Limbic's mood is completely dictated by your senses. You decide what you feed to your senses. You are the most important character, making all the choices. Back in San Fran, you've once again become a fully useful member of the city. Sometimes you look at the prison island and remember the times you spent there. Sometimes with fear, sometimes with fondness of the wisdom it provided. Sometimes you feel hope for the inmates that are still inside. Other times you look at the island directly and you don't even register it at all. You're caught up in life again. You've reached your goal. Johnny might occasionally worry about you being sent back, but you know you've escaped once, so the next time you'll just walk out of the front doors. The what ifs Johnny can throw at you hold no currency with you any longer. They simply remind you of the amazing thing that you did. They give you confidence. It's impossible for you to fear Alcatraz again, simply because you understand it. You are free forever. You are cured forever. Eventually, Alcatraz opens up for tourists. On occasion, you join a tour and visit the prison island. You still remember the unexplained sounds and echoes that poured through the walls. Each time you visit, it's on your own terms. Your painful memory associated with each location in the prison is slowly overwritten with a new memory of more recent visits. The more you visit, the more you understand. You even consider taking on a job as a tour guide, as you know that the more time you spend there, the less of the bad times you remember. You find yourself actually wanting to spend more time on this magnificent island. As you walk through the hallways, you think deeply on the journey you've taken. You become compelled to help others. You don't want to provoke envy because you know that it never helped you. All you want to do is pass on a simple message. You don't want your letters to be delivered by the prison's mailman. You sneak past the occupied cell of one of the other guests and you whisper, "Hey buddy, there's something in your pocket." So let me know if you liked that story by liking this video or putting in a comment so more people can see this. And if you're interested to learn about the keys that you already have in your pocket and how to escape this prison that we call anxiety or panic, click the link and check out my site on my page. Thank you for watching.